So I'm here to demonstrate a recipe for a tonic, a rejuvenative, nourishing tonic, and that is a spiced milk with the herb shatavari. Now, shatavari is known as a woman's friend. So it's a type of wild asparagus, and the herb is made from the dried up tubers of that wild asparagus plant. And I'm going to send a little dish around so you can feel it and also give it a taste, and we'll be talking about the tastes. Thanks. So the name shatavari comes from Sanskrit shata, which means 100, and vari, which means husband. So if you use shatavari, you will have the strength and to service 100 husbands. So we're ready to make some, right? Are you ready to drink some? So shatavari is, well, we're talking about ways to reduce our vata and our pitta, and in order to regulate our cycles. So we're going to start with milk. Well, let me let's just start with milk. And this is I'm making 1 cup. So we start with 1 cup of milk. And let me just get the, there we go. Okay, I'm just going to get the heat started. And then I'm going to add the shatavari to it. Now, the shatavari, the properties are that it's sweet and bitter. Those are the 2 tastes. And if you give it a taste when it's going around, you'll notice the sweetness. And it's kind of strange for an Ayurvedic herb to be sweet because they're almost always like really bitter. And it's also slightly unctuous or oily. And those qualities reduce both vata and pitta. The sweet and the bitter reduces pitta, and the unctuousness reduces vata. So it reduces vata and pitta. It slightly increases kapha, but it's a really good kind of kapha. It's kapha that's really going to nourish all of your tissues, including your muscles. So that's good. So shatavari is used for, certainly for your cycle to be soothing and nourishing. It also boosts our vitality and increases immunity. It increases that special substance that Ayurveda speaks about called ojas. And that translates roughly to vitality and immunity. So what we're going to do is to this milk, I've added the shatavari, and then we're going to add a few herbs to make it digestible and bring other beautiful qualities to it. So next I'm going to add some saffron. So you've all seen saffron. It's these tiny threads that come from a special kind of crocus, and it has to be picked by hand, so it's quite precious. So we're going to put just 3 or 4 threads in here, and it's also going to make it a beautiful color. And saffron is a blood purifier, so it's good to get saffron in your diet. And particularly when it comes to during your menses, that purification of blood will also reduce any foul smell that might be coming through the menses. And that smell is actually a quality of increased pitta. So with reducing pitta, you also naturally reduce odor. And so it's more about milk, though, too. Milk is also sweet and cooling, so that's going to reduce pitta and vata. And when you add shatavari to milk, it actually really helps improve the qualities of the shatavari itself. It's almost always given in milk. And milk is also good for sleep. It has a good nourishing and pitta-reducing quality that will help with sleep. And also we talked about that there might be some digestive issues during menses, and so if you're suffering from a little constipation, milk will be really helpful because it's slightly laxative. But if it won't give you diarrhea if you don't have constipation, it's just really gentle. So it'll just help if you have a little bit of constipation. So I've added the shatavari and the saffron, and now I'm going to add some cardamom. So cardamom is a warming herb. It'll just help digestion. It's good for beauty, as well as saffron too. And who doesn't want to be beautiful? So I'm just going to crush those up a little bit because both the pods and the seeds inside have great quality. So you want both. And that's this cardamom. About 3 to 5. Might depend on your taste if you like it with a lot of cardamom. I'm going to add a little bit of turmeric. Now, turmeric is a known anti-inflammatory herb, and if you get some turmeric daily in your diet, it's just really good for staying healthy. And it also purifies blood as well. So I'm going to add, about a 1/4 teaspoon. So it's going to be really yellow now. So adding turmeric will really help with, if you're having painful cramps, the turmeric will help. And in fact, you can make a tea with just turmeric. We also talked about ajwain and cumin in tea. And turmeric also is good for reducing vata and reducing, is it? Yeah. It's good for pain. It's good for inflammation. Okay, and now we're going to sweeten this up a little bit by adding some rock candy. So you can use regular sugar, but rock candy that you can get at the Indian store is a little bit more cool and slightly more unctuous or oily. So I don't know if you've seen rock candy before. I remember as a kid we did science experiments where you put a string in sugar solution and it grows the crystals on it. That's how they do this. So it's just that regularity. I'm going to let people look at that. And here's some that's crushed up a little bit. So I would just, take the crystal and, give it a good bash in here to chop it up a little bit. And I've already done that. So you probably want about 2 teaspoons per cup of sugar. This is kind of to your taste. Okay. So now I'm going to add, for 1 cup of milk, I'm going to add 4 cups of water. So you're not going to drink this really dilute like this. What you're going to do is you're going to boil it down, all the way down until it becomes 1 cup again. So this is done for most milk products in Ayurveda. We make a regular spiced milk, with no herbs in it, but just spices. Just as a nighttime tonic for bed. You can add nutmeg is very helpful for insomnia. And it's a good carrier for good spices that help you keep healthy, like saffron and turmeric and cardamom. It doesn't matter. Because about the boiling down, now what it does is it will lighten the milk. So it'll make it more digestible. It gives it a chance to get these herbs to get into it, because it's going to take some time. So the standard is 1 part milk to 4 parts water. But if you have a really good digestion, you could do 1 to 2 or 1 to 3. Would take less time and trouble. But the lightest and the most recommended is 1 to 4. So if you want to be doing this kind of milk with the boiling down, you know that it's just going to splurt up if I keep this on high. You might want to check out one of these things. It stops boil over. I found it at the fancy cookware store But you could just plop it on here, and what it does is it has these petals, so it'll kind of keep it in the cap. So you can walk away from the stove and not have to worry about it. But it is kind of problematic to clean. I suppose you could throw it in the dishwasher, but it will keep your stove from being such a problem. And the other thing is that you're just like losing all your great herbs and stuff when you're letting it boil over. So I'm going to let this go, but I'm not going to have you guys watch me while I do this. And in fact, I've already made one ahead of time. So we have one that's already boiled down. Okay. So we're going to pretend that this is boiled down. But I'm going to keep this going. Oh, actually, this is the hot one. Okay. I'm going to let you see what happens when it boils over. So for 1 cup, if you can let it go kind of on high, it'll take about 15 minutes. Okay. And then when that's done, let me see. Just checking I haven't forgotten anything. No, we're good. Okay, so a little bit more about shatavari is that you can grow it yourself. Apparently, it's very hardy, and it's a good climber. And as Shiniji's been speaking about in the Ayurveda Ancestral Teachings class, she's encouraging us to grow our herbs because it adds a certain quality of dharma to your healing when you're growing your own herbs. And it's just part of like just being responsible for the plants as well in our world. So she recommended that you might want to grow it. And so does anybody have any questions? All right, should we use the mic?
How much shatavari did you add to the milk?
Oh, I forgot. Okay, 1 tablespoon in a cup, which is probably more than the label would tell you to do. But you want a good amount.
For people that tend to have issues with milk, I know that you said that this makes it more digestible, but is it possible to do another substitution?
Right.
For either people just that are intolerant or who have an actual like lactose intolerance?
Yeah, mostly people are intolerant because they're intolerant to raw milk or to cold milk. And so this actually does really help, but you'd probably want to start really slow if you wanted to try this if you are intolerant. But if you want to do a milk substitute, probably rice milk would be the best substitute. Almond milk would be heating, so that's something, nuts are heating, so you don't really want that because we're trying to reduce the pitta. So, and I don't know, if some people are just intolerant to cow's milk, because you can also use goat's milk. And goat's milk is a little bit lighter than cow's milk. Ayurveda considers cow's milk the most sattvic, or the most, light. Light in spirit. Yeah. So that's what we prefer, but goat milk is good and digestible.
And could you still do the boiling down part of it? Or I know sometimes it kind of separates funny when you do the boiling, but maybe if you add water, it would be...
I think you probably wouldn't want to do that if you were doing rice milk. I think you would probably just heat it, but you'd probably want to just simmer it for a while because you still want the time. Because what we're making here with the herbs, with the shatavari, is a decoction. And that's where it's time and heat is what's infusing all the properties into what you're going to be consuming.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So we've finished boiling down. We now have the final 1 cup. And then I'm just going to strain it. So you'll see that the herb has kind of swelled up some in here. And you might get a bit of that milk skin. So some people like the milk skin, but this will strain it out in any case. Yeah, this is pretty thick. Okay, and we're going to let you all try some. We have some samples. And this is about to boil any second. So please try some Shatavari milk tonic. Oh, here it goes. I'm going to get a little more under control. Let's see what's happening is the petals are letting it bubble up, and then this is catching it. So it does allow you to boil it a little bit quicker than you would normally, if you're really concerned, you know?
And is the recommendation to have this just during your cycle or all month, just to keep regulated?
Yeah, this is really a tonic that you can take anytime. During your menses, you might want to do it a couple of times a day, but morning, sometime midday, and at bedtime. But it's given for, I mean, it's known as the woman's friend because it's not only just a general tonic, but it's also good for pregnancy and it's really recommended for pregnancy, and also it helps with lactation.
Sorry, bodybuilding quality. And it even can help in cases of anemia to strengthen your system. So it's a really
it's an
number one
important
herb
herb
for female health.
And anyone can take it. In fact, girls as young as 10 who are prepubescent can be having Shatavari. So how did you like the milk? Good. Okay.
Thank you, Pragya ji. Please give Pragya a warm
Thank you.
thank you.